You know how we're always looking for life hacks, right? Some kind of formula for success? Well, what if a really powerful blueprint for a good life has been hiding in plain sight for thousands of years? Today, we're going to decode the third chapter of the ancient book of Proverbs and really dig into its formula for a life of purpose, peace, and prosperity.
It's the ultimate question, isn't it? One that people have been asking forever. What is the secret? Well, this ancient text, it doesn't just ask the question, it actually claims to have the answer, a direct set of instructions for getting exactly that. So let's see what it has to say.
So, before we get into the how-to, the chapter kicks things off with the why. It lays out a series of really powerful promises, the direct benefits you can expect if you follow its teachings. This is basically the prize you're playing for. And the very first promise, it's a big one: longevity. The text makes a direct link between its teachings and literally adding years to your life. So this isn't just about some abstract spiritual idea. It's about a tangible, real-world result. But, it's not just about how many years you get, right? It's about the quality of those years. The text immediately follows up with two more huge rewards: peace, that inner sense of calm and security, and prosperity, which is all about flourishing and succeeding on the outside. It's the whole package. And that brings us to the final piece of this opening promise. It's not just about how you feel or what you have, it's also about your reputation. We're talking about having a good name, earning respect from your community, and finding favor with a higher power. So let's recap. A long life, inner peace, outer success, and a stellar reputation. That's the offer on the table.
All right, so if those are the rewards, you've got to be thinking, what's the catch? Well, it's not really a catch, it's more of a condition. This next section lays out the specific mindset and the actions you need to take to unlock all those promises. This is the how-to manual.
Okay, this is probably the most famous part of the whole chapter, and it's a three-part command. First, a deep, complete trust with all your heart. Second, there's a specific warning. Don't rely only on your own limited perspective. And third, it's about making a conscious choice to align everything you do with this higher authority. And if you do those three things, what happens? The text promises your paths will be made straight. It's this really powerful picture of a life with clarity, with direction and purpose, a life that's free from all that chaos and confusion you get when you try to figure it all out yourself. And then this idea of trust gets applied to something super concrete: our money. The text introduces what's called the first fruits principle. It's the idea of honoring God with the first and best part of your income. And the promised result? It's not scarcity, it's the exact opposite: overflowing abundance. It's framed as this totally radical act of trust. Okay, so after laying out this whole idea of trust, the chapter makes a big pivot. It starts talking about what it considers the ultimate prize, the single most valuable thing anyone can possibly get. And it's not money, it's not power, it's wisdom. And the text talks about wisdom almost like it's a real person. I mean, think about it. The author takes the most valuable stuff back then, we're talking silver, gold, even precious rubies, and basically says wisdom is in a whole other league. The return on investment for wisdom, it argues, is infinitely higher than for any material thing you could ever own. And the imagery here, wow, it gets incredibly powerful. Wisdom isn't just a good idea, she is a tree of life. Now, for the original audience, that would immediately bring to mind the Garden of Eden, a source of life, energy, and blessing. The message is that embracing wisdom isn't just smart, it's like plugging directly into the source of life itself. And just look at what she, this personified wisdom, has to offer. She's literally holding all the promises from the beginning of the chapter in her hands: long life, riches, honor, pleasantness, peace. The message is pretty clear, right? Don't chase after those things directly, go after wisdom, and she'll bring all of it to you. So this all sounds amazing, but what does it actually look like in our everyday lives? Well, this is where the chapter gets super practical. It shifts from the big ideas about wisdom to how it's actually applied in the way we treat other people. And boom, here's the code of conduct. It's a series of clear do-nots that really paint a picture of what a wise life looks like. Be generous and don't make people wait. Be trustworthy. Don't start fights for no reason. And definitely don't look up to or copy people who get ahead through violence and corruption. It's a blueprint for real community integrity. And here's the thing. Living this way isn't just about, being a good person for its own sake. The text frames it as the actual foundation for a secure, safe life. When you live with this kind of judgment and discretion, you walk safely, your foot will not stumble, and your sleep will be sweet, simply because you have nothing to fear. And all of this leads us to the grand finale of the chapter. After all the principles and all the promises, it ends with this really stark, powerful contrast. It's basically a choice between two completely different paths that lead to two completely different destinations. You can almost see this final comparison as like a cosmic balance sheet, you know? It just lays it all out. On one side, the path of wisdom leads to being close to the divine, a blessed home, favor, and honor. On the other side, the path of foolishness leads to being detested, a cursed house, being mocked, and in the end, nothing but shame. The two outcomes, I mean, they couldn't be more opposite. So, at the end of the day, after we've decoded this whole ancient blueprint, it really leaves us right here at a fundamental choice. The text presents the paths, the behaviors, and the final destinations with absolute clarity. And then it just leaves the question hanging there for each of us. Which destination do you want?